learning how to just move your own body in just weird positions. That's a part of training. So we'll incorporate all of those things into a program traditionally. And then that's a great way for someone to be like, you know what? I really like the kettlebell stuff. Okay, join up with a kettlebell class. I really like the barbell stuff. Cool, we offer that. Offer up to a barbell class. Or I really like just the body weight stuff. Okay, cool, we also offer that. So it's like finding your own little niche on top of that. So then most people like it all. And it's just like, okay, cool, there's the blend for you.
So you definitely don't have like a few static programs that you give to whatever. Like it does seem that you do cater and customize depending on what you're seeing. Like, I mean, you can have a few sessions with someone and by the end of that come to a lot of realizations, I guess, about what that person needs, what they enjoy. And if they want to have that optimal experience, that peak experience, to go into that flow, you get a better idea of what they specifically need to get there.
Exactly. And I think that's what's great about sometimes having a trainer is they'll help find you that flow.
Yeah.
And especially if you guys are communicating well together, like, did you flow well today? It's like, yeah, like, that was good. Like, after the session, you know, it's like, that was deadly. I got my feel-goods.
Yeah. Getting lost in that is really important. You know, God, we had that half hour together, and, you know, in some ways it felt like an hour, and in some ways it felt like 10 minutes,
right?
you know?
It's gone.
It's incredible. Like, you feel like it was an hour in the sense of how your body's responding and how it feels worked, but in terms of time duration, you really lose a lot of it, which
is incredible when you think about like the gym. If you go to the gym like an hour a day, it's 4% of your day.
And I always feel like it's just a few minutes when I'm there.
It's nothing. I
mean, the way I see it, like, you know, I can spend 10 minutes or more doing my cable stuff. Each set now is, you know, less than a minute. You take your little recovery bit in between sets, but, you know, maybe 5 minutes on the whole, but it feels like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and now when you're mid-set, it feels like an hour.
Yeah, everyone always says like a minute of planks is always the longest minute, right?
I haven't done planks in like a week or two now, but you know what, when I was with my first personal trainer, that there's something about a trainer when they show you your personal best immediately, and you're like, damn, now I need to, that's where I'm at.
That's a good coach, right? Trigger
I learned that I could do 3 sets of a minute and a half. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh boy, I gotta do that
and
now.
It's like, you either gotta do it or beat it, right?
Right, and
it's
like,
that 1% better.
Oh, and that minute and a half is so brutal. Once I get to 60 seconds, I just start shaking all over.
And that's the stuff, again, going to this mental health, is like the stuff you're saying in your head
Yeah.
when you're going through that minute. Like, what are you saying to yourself? And a lot of people, you know, they get to the breaking point. It's like, what do you start saying to yourself at the breaking point? And, like, that's where it can be really impactful. Once you get to that point, are you still staying positive?
It's the debate you have with yourself, because eventually it will hurt. I will find my back hurting. And so I'll have that thought, but I will try to immediately challenge it and go, pain is temporary.
You got it.
And this will be over in 20 seconds.
You got it. And there's a difference, too, again, talking about self-awareness, being aware, like, is this hurting me, or is this just really hard and intense right now?
Is it a good hurt or a bad hurt? Is it not even just good hurt or bad hurt, but, like,
knowing your limits,
is it pain
I imagine.
or is it fatigue?
Yeah, knowing your limits.
Is it pain or is it failure, in the technical sense of failure? I love a good failure set when I'm...
It's part of the whole fun of challenges, right?
It is. You know, and I'm also learning to really give myself a healthy dose of self-forgiveness when it comes to some days it's just a bit too much. I've been, you know, I've been working on my shoulders for a long time now, and lately I've, you know, gotten to that. Once I started doing the bar, that was a big deal. Once I started to add a few pounds or so, I've been on 55 for a while now, for about maybe a week or so, probably more like 2 weeks at this point. And today, last set, I do 5 sets of 10. Last set today, I got to 7, and I was like, nope,
Yeah, not doing it.
Put it down, because once again, no one's behind me or anything. If I'm doing 7 and I'm like, I could barely lift it up, I was like, no, I'm not risking it. And, you know, I think in the past, I would have really ruminated for a few minutes on that. But my first go-to was also just identifying what went wrong. And the first thing I did was I pulled out my notebook and I was like, next time, don't exhaust your triceps before you do that, because you need those.
There could be so many different ways on that happened. You could have been having a stressful morning, a stressful day yesterday.
I did an extra triceps thing, and as I was doing it, I was like, maybe this is going to affect my shoulders.
Yeah.
And so it was the first thing I thought back to. But my thought after that was, okay, well, let's do some biceps, but then let's go right back to the triceps because we want them strong. We don't want to neglect them. So I did some bicep stuff, and then I was back to skull crushers. And I hate skull crushers so much, but that's why I do them, right? I don't like them, which is why I do them.
Yeah, that's another great thing about our trainers. They'll find what you're good at and also find what you're bad at. And you should be doing some of the things you're bad at.
Oh yeah, I've talked so many times about when I was in Seattle, and I'm still in awe of this. Like, the whole, like, I did 1 hour of training at the Seattle boxing gym. It was fantastic. The 10 minutes of warm up, specifically the less than 2 minutes of skipping. I tell you, 26 years old, I felt 90 when I was doing that skipping. I couldn't believe it. I had to go to the bathroom 10 seconds into it.
Yeah, that's constant jumping.
Oh my god, and the hydration. But yeah. I woke up the next morning and I got out of bed and my feet were just oh my god, I felt like I was having a muscle cramp every movement. And it took me 4 days to get over that. And when I got back to Newfoundland, the first thing on my list to do was I gotta go buy a skipping rope. I gotta go buy myself a speed rope. Yeah, exactly. And of course, another thing that I pointed back to was I was wearing really bad sneakers, and foot support is obviously huge when you're doing anything like that.
Yeah, running. A lot of people think okay, I want to get back in shape. I'm gonna go for a run or a sprint.
Gotta be careful with that.
Yeah, I would disagree and say that's probably
Start off low impact.
Exactly. There's the word, low impact. There's so much impact with running on the knees, especially if you're overweight, that should be done as more of an athletic thing. The more athletic you get, that's why you see, football players, basketball players, soccer players, all these athletes, they're running on the field, they're sprinting, and then we're like, yeah, I'm going to go do that for half an hour. It's like that's
and when you compare yourself to these athletes, you also got to remember they get injured so much.
Yeah, there's also the injury side. It's
and we don't want that.
No, low impact, and then get your results, consistency there. So a big thing that I use is what's called sled sprints, or just sled training. And those are incredible, healthy for your knees, for your hips, for the joints, and keeping longevity of health. And then, of course, results on top of that, because you're pushing a ton of weight instead of just moving your own body weight.
We have one set of all of these bones. We got to be good
healthy.
To them.
Yeah, keep them healthy.
You don't want to get involved with replacements if you don't need to.
No,
we don't need to be
one body.
Absolutely, one body indeed. No, my experience with running, and this is probably where we're going to start to clue things up, but running for me is something that I thought about as a really impossible task, and I never thought I could run. And when I started going down this road, this fork in the road, as I said during the intro, I was 267 pounds, and I was going to the gym all the time, and I knew for a fact that running was a terrible idea. Even when I was 200, when I took my very first run, I was 165. I probably should have still waited, but I definitely felt okay to do it. And I will say, I 30 pounds of weight between coupled with intermittent fasting and running. Oh, those 30 pounds came off in one semester in 2 weeks. It was intense.
For that body at that time, that was some intense activity.
Because I had been a bit slower, starting to level off a bit, but then once again the fasting, introducing low carb, high fat, and running, that was a whole new boost.
That's how again I train my clients is when we're looking at consults and changing people's lifestyle. It's not like, hey, try 20 of these new nutrition tips today.
Oh no, you've got to start with
slow.
A few
it's
things.
Like, hey, try this 1 to 5 things. Introduce those into your lifestyle. Let's see which ones work. Let's see which ones don't. And then we can replace the ones that don't work with different ones. There's thousands out there.
The more things you add, the less sustainable they're going to be.
Yeah, and then you find the ones that become rituals and habits. And once it's a habit, you hardly think about it. I mean, who thinks about brushing their teeth anymore? So, I mean, you introduce these things that you do on a daily basis. They make you feel good. They start giving you results into the lifestyle that you want. And then boom.
As Richard Kassoon said on episode 3 of the show, the difference between healthy behavior and healthy lifestyle is just that consistency. Yeah. You can have a lot of healthy behavior that are done for usually extrinsic reasons. That's not a lifestyle. No. If you want to create a healthy lifestyle, yeah, you need to implement the behavior, but you need to, as you said, make it a ritual. It has to become consistent or else it's not lifestyle.
Yeah, social media. You can be posting all of the great things that you do. Let's say
you're cherry picking.
Yeah, you post a daily salad every single day, and it's like every night you're having the Ben and Jerry's.
You don't post the Ben and Jerry's,
right?
No.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, that guy and girl is so healthy. It's like, yeah, you don't see what I'm doing at night.
Uh-huh. God, this has been just a fantastic hour of just sharing so many great ideas, and I feel like every time that we talk, I always take a lot away from it.
Yeah, like-minded.
So it's been really great to have you on the show, and I hope that we can get you on again. I feel like there's just a myriad of topics we can discuss.
Yeah, I can imagine we can get into some topics on everything.
But I found that it was really great to start off with talking about mental health and our respective journeys, because it's just such a problem in every pocket of the world, people dealing with so many internal struggles, and a lot of people not wanting to go to the gym, people not knowing where to start, and not even believing that there is a connection there. Yeah, there's a lot of being skeptical and even cynicism around the idea. Mm-hmm. And I've had a lot of people will give me the whole, "Oh, thanks, I'm cured." And it's, well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not, but the difference, you can't deny it once you put yourself there.
No, you can't. I mean, once you do find that flow, You'll know what we're talking about.
Once it becomes lifestyle, it becomes a part of you. And once it becomes a part of you, it becomes a part of you that you cannot do without any longer. So on that note, I am going to thank you very much for joining me.
Absolute pleasure.
Oh my God, yes. And once again, I hope to have you on again. So do all of my lovely listeners who have stuck with me for the past hour. You have listened to another episode of Annii Gets Healthy. If you are currently listening on CHMR and you didn't get to listen to the whole show, go on your computer. You can go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts. You can go to Spreaker, Castbox. The show is in all sorts of locations. Just type in Annii Gets Healthy. That's ANNII Gets Healthy. As I said in the intro, please reach out to me if you want to. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm most active on Instagram at Annii Gets Healthy. That's ANNII Gets Healthy. Once again, you can email me at anniegetshealthy@gmail.com, or for the occasional update, you can go on my Twitter at AnnieKHealth. I thank you all for listening tonight. It's always great to share what's on my mind and the positive energy that I have inside of myself. I hope that you were able to take something from the show, and hopefully you can put it into practice in your own life. If you have something that you feel I need to know about to incorporate into my life, as I said before, please reach out. But until the next time that we talk, have a fantastic week. Please love yourselves. Please give yourself a healthy dose of self-forgiveness. I know you're doing the best you can. So stick with me. I'll talk to you next week. I love you all. Have a great one.